today topic is that not a big one as far as the dependent origination goes. It looks very simple, but as far as the depth of uh, Dhamma goes, it is really good. So we'll see what it is. So we have to take some events in our life and reflect upon. And if you reflect upon, take your childhood. Can you reflect upon right now? And the answer is yes. And can you reflect upon all the time? And the answer is again yes. Now, can you reflect upon? So the word reflection. There are two words, deflection and reflection. So deflection is that you're deflecting it, you're moving it away. Reflecting is that it's just like a water being there, and then something as a thing will reflect on that. The consciousness is just a reflective piece, if we were to talk. So just reflect. Anything that comes on that reflects. So if I say I have a wife, it reflects on the consciousness. If I say I don't have a wife, that also reflects on the consciousness. Let us say a person has married and he is divorced. Now, that means the marriage came into existence in that bowl, let's call it as a reflection. And since it is already always there, so person can say I'm married because it's there. Right? He can keep on reflecting infinite times as he wants. So when an object comes and that object is called wife, so he sees the wife. But the reflection is wife, not the object. Its object is replaced by wife, so he sees the wife. Now what happens? They keep on fighting forever, and then they come to a conclusion that I want to divorce, and she also says I want to divorce. Now they divorce. Now what happens? It becomes ex-wife. So when that object again comes, it becomes an ex-wife. So if we were to see what happened to wife, it was never there, so we can make it as ex-wife. Just like somebody dies and we can say late so and so, because he was from the beginning, he was not there. That's, we can designate, we can put something to that and then make it an end, because that doesn't make sense. So now instead of death, we'll take very simple things like divorces and friends not being there. So let's say I had a very close friend during my childhood days, where we both promised that we're not going to separate at any time. But now, honestly speaking, this friend of mine has moved to Philadelphia around maybe 28 years or 20 years, 28 years. He's been in the US, and not 28, even more than that, sorry, 38 years. He's in the US. And while I was in Philadelphia, I just spoke to him on the phone and we never met. But we were such a close friend that we couldn't imagine separation. His sister and my wife are friends. So they also thought that they will not separate. But she now stays in Canada and she hardly meets her. Right now, if there was truly a friend, would this separation be possible? That means when I was at age 8, he is age 8, and we've been like after school, we both are together like that. And he is just one block away, meaning this is my house and the next block is his home. So after school, keep the bag and we are at his home, or I am at his home, or he's at my home, like that. Now, what is happening if we see this scenario, wife, friend, all that? The conscious experience, the reflection, the reflector, It's reflecting whatever is coming there. So if a friend comes, it reflects friend. If an enemy comes, it reflects enemy. If America comes, it reflects America. If India comes, it reflects India. Whoever comes, it just reflects that. It has no idea that it should reflect this or that, should be this way or that way. So in that way, I can lose my friend. So next time while I'm around in the US, let's say I'm in San Francisco and he stays in the East Coast, so then I can't meet him even though I'm in the US. So I can just give him a call and he would say, look, I'm in this a tube train, I'm going to New York or whatever it is, and that's it. That's there ends the matter. But he has a daughter and he has his parents are also there with him. They have moved to US some 15 years ago, so all are together in the US. But then he has lost a friend. But because that was the agreement that we both will not separate, come what may. But we are gone. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even call. So whenever he's in India, he just calls me, hey, I came 1 week ago. Sorry that I could not meet you. Please excuse me. This time I'm not able to meet you. And he flies back to US. This person who promised at the age of 15 also, that means we started at 8, at 15, 16, we're still close friends. We promised each other we are not going to separate. Doesn't even care now. Isn't that the most fascinating thing? And my mother-in-law used to feed both of us, both the friend and me, because I am their tenant. Now she's my mother-in-law. You see this fun? See, this is what the consciousness can do. Now, earlier she was an aunt. I used to call her auntie. Even now I call her because I can't change that. But earlier, if I had touched her daughter, she would have slapped me. Now, if I don't touch her daughter, she will slap me. You see this fun? Earlier, I would have got a slap for touching her daughter, and now I will get a slap if I not touch her daughter. Why? Because you married her. But what changed? She has not changed, meaning her physical body didn't get marriage there, right? Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. But she is my wife. So now if anybody touches her, I'm supposed to protect her, right? But when we were school friends, everybody was touching her. But that is allowed. Why? Because you are still a friend. Now you are not a friend. You are a wife, you are a husband of hers. So you need to protect. Okay. Now what if I divorce her? Now anybody can touch her. Why? Because it's no longer yours. So when it is yours, you can't allow somebody to use it. But when it's not yours, you can do whatever you want. Now she can be with somebody and she can have fun or not have fun or whatever, because now it's ex-wife. Right? And when we married, we promised to each other that we are not going to separate except for death, which is unfortunate incident, but we are not going to separate. Then why divorce? Why? And okay, divorce, fine. But can you be the husband of that wife? No. I'm an ex-husband of the ex-wife. What happened to that husband and wife? They're dead. They no longer exist. They existed on paper only. And I went to the attorney and I went to the court. And then there was a court which had stated that you both are married. I go to the same court. I file a petition that I want to divorce. And she files a petition that she also wants to divorce. And there is an amicable settlement that, okay, that means it's a contract. It's just a contract on paper. That means no husband and wife existed ever. So it's all about adjustments, meaning I need to adjust to her mindset. She needs to adjust to my mindset. My mindset is my mindset. Her mindset is her mindset. She is on her own. I am on my own, supposedly pretending to be a husband and wife, which is never going to happen. And this is Nama and Rupa. So the wife comes into existence only in the mind. There is no physical wife. And the husband comes into existence only in the mind. No physical husband can be found. So then what do? I have no other option. Like a friend. There's a friend and the friend is gone. What I should do? So house, career, everything is of the same kind. That I name something for the convenience and I get lost in it, saying that I'm part of that. Okay. So this way of seeing, this way of being there is what is a conscious experience. So now I consciously have a wife and she has a husband. So she had a wife and she has a husband and I have a wife, right? So why do we have it in the first place? Because that's a convention. Why do I have job in the first place? Because that's a convention. So can I lose my job? Yes, because you never had one. So you're going to lose it. If you think you had one, you're going to lose it. If you never had a job, will you lose a job? No, you're supposed to work, you work, and then they say, okay, thank you very much. I think we have to lay you off for whatever reason. And then you say, okay, done. It's all about sustaining a living. So then if this goes away, then you find another job. What if I ever thought that I'm not going to lose the job? I'm a greatest fool ever. So what I did in 2013, I don't know, at that time I didn't have so much of Buddha Dhamma like what I have today. But I promised myself 4 things. I don't know why it came like that. Yesterday I was telling Janak about it. It just happened that the company was sold and they had informed me while we were enjoying in Las Vegas. They said that we are going to sell this company, but you don't worry. None of the persons here will ever be affected. That means the company will lay off employees and then, but still I'm part of this cream pie, right? Because not everyone was called. So we are enjoying our life in Las Vegas and fun and all that. And then my MD or CEO, whatever you want to call, just says, you know what? We plan to sell this for a fortune. What do you think? What is there to think? There's nothing to think, right? And then we're thinking, oh, what happens to others? He says, no, don't worry. All of you here, nothing. Absolutely fair. You are in a limousine. Just enjoy this. And we had a huge limousine going across Las Vegas. And then he said, all these people sitting here, nothing to worry, have drink, have fun, merry and all that. Okay. So we bought into that. Now we bought into it. That means you don't have to worry. The job is yours. So then 2013 Jan, they sold it. And that's okay. We already know it. So I had to pretend that it was never sold so that people who are reporting to me would never come to know that somebody's life is at stake. I had to just pretend everything is nice and all that. And then an email comes saying that we are pleased to inform that why pleased? You should be unhappy to inform that you have sold it. But we are pleased to inform that you have a new owner. And that is a venture capitalist organization. I mean, they don't care. They only care about numbers. And now everyone is shit scared. Who will get a pink slip? Right? Okay, whatever happened. So then this new manager came and he came from Atlanta. And then he asked me some tough questions. I had some tough answers. And it was looking very tough to continue in that organization. Then I thought, oh, what's the deal next? To get a job is very difficult for me because I was already heading the organization. That means I have to apply somewhere as vice president, minimum. And VP jobs are not more in number. The developer jobs are more in number than vice president. Now it's a mid-sized organization. So what should I do? So I came up with an idea that I will do these 4 things and see what happens to me. And like I said, I never had read so much of Dhamma in 2013. So I first did like this, that what is reflecting? The reflection here is that I will be compared tomorrow. Meaning, while you were in the organization, they have taken X, and this new manager has come. He's going to compare and find out that, look, what you did is bad or ugly or whatever it is, and keep on tormenting on that so that I myself will quit, or he will end, whichever way it works, right? So he's already decided. It's a decision made. Only the time would say whether it's 1 year down the line or 2 years down the line, or you accept whatever they say. You accept the role what they give you, and you don't like that role, and you do it. Why? Because I'm comparing my previous title and work is good, and this new title and new role is not good because I'm comparing. So I thought that to live better life, I should stop comparing. Not comparing with others, forget about others, even comparing with myself, the previous event with this new event. I'm not going to do that. So the reflection today, if I see the consciousness or the object reflecting on the consciousness, if I had not done that, by now, this is my 12th year of not being on job, or rather 11th year of not being on job, would have been a painful experience. For 11 years, I'm not working as an employee. Somebody will take me, some assignment is given, that's okay. But it's not like an employee. I'm not a full-time employee. And I'm not at a position where I was. So that comparison, I was there and I want to be here, is a pain. So I thought, for whatever reason, and now today, since I am so much on Dhamma, you can see that, wow, what an insight I got at that point in time. And I'm not going to compare. Okay, great. Don't compare. Very good. Peaceful. Then the second one, no compromise. Compromise of what? Compromise is you're so desperate to get something. That's a compromise. Family also is a compromise. Job is a compromise. Stay in a place is a compromise. Everything is a compromise. You have to literally compromise. Happiness is an uncompromising thing, right? How can you find happiness in a thing which is compromised? And everything is compromised. All relationships are compromised. So why I should suffer? Right? So there's no compromise. I don't compromise. Compromise doesn't mean that I'm going to act funny with those people. No. I'm not going to act funny with myself, with expectations, or I'll do this, that's a compromise, because then it doesn't come through. It's a sorry, it's like cutting a sorry face, and then you accept what it is. From the beginning, if you were to accept, there's no compromise, there is no suffering at all, right? Because you are not compromising. Okay. The situation has come. The situation is situation. It will go away. So they sold the company, is a situation. You're going to lose a job, is a situation. I might not even lose a job. They wanted to offer me a different role, which I didn't like, because that's not my key area. So I said, I can't do it. I was frank. So there's no compromise. Otherwise, I could have taken the job. I could have taken that role and continued struggling every day. Some abuses, some this, some that, and all of that, right? So no compromise. Okay, fine, fair. These two manageable. Third one is competition. We are used to competing within ourselves, meaning I want to become that. It's a competition. So why compete? Basically, you have to earn for a living or you have to survive. And that's the basic necessity of life. It's not, I want to be like this. Or even I don't have to be standing out of the crowd. There's no crowd at all. It's me, the crowd. There's no other crowd. So there's no need for me to act funny that I have to stand out of crowd. Not required. So the third C, no competition. What's there to compete with? With whom should I compete? There's nothing. Even while driving car, because India has a lot of people, population, you want to rush because it's going to get delayed. So you have to compete. And then you become aggressive. Because as many people are there, you tend to become aggressive. The less the people, the less aggressive. Right? Like while I was in Carmel doesn't have much people. But when you come to Kentucky, then there are a lot of people. When you come to Indianapolis, and then there's not much people. So, but you go to Chicago, there are a lot of people. So then automatically you tend aggressive. New York or in Philadelphia, it's aggressive because there are a lot of people. So with a lot of people, generally you need to compete. You need to compare. Then you have to arrive at a compromise. So all the three C's are going to be there. And the fourth one, no compulsion. No compulsive, I need to do this, I need to do that. So these four actually are there in Buddha Dhamma. How? You might ask me, I've never heard this. Then Mangala Sutta, yes, Bobby.
Sorry, you told 2013. So do you have some kind of knowledge about Buddha Dhamma before that?
Yes.
Or so suddenly how you got these four C's?
I don't know how I got it, but I had knowledge because from 2000 I've been on the Dhamma side, but with Dalai Lama or majorly to with Mahayana. It doesn't have to do with this, but then it just struck me that I shouldn't be doing it. And few years later, I saw that the same thing in Mangala Sutta. I literally said, wow, from where did it strike me? Yes, Reyes, go ahead.
No, I wanted to just react, but
okay. Instead of that, you did this. Okay. Yeah, Bobby, to answer to your question is that it just came and it from that day till today, it's really helped me.
It is like Buddha says, it came spontaneously.
Spontaneously. So I didn't literally premeditate or do something because of the situation which I was in every day. And I was telling my wife, this is feeling really jittery about this job now. So I don't know what to do because this company was so aggressively buying companies that they did a lot of mistakes, buying so many unwanted companies, and then it was becoming too tough for them to manage. And they wanted to sell. So while in the US, when they said that, I told my wife, look, you know what's happening? They are doing this. But they have promised that all of these boat people are not going to be tortured in some way, but I'm sure that's not the fact. So I was feeling uneasy from the time he said that. I was saying, okay, in for some trouble. And the trouble just happened 1.5 years later. So for the next 1 year, there was no problem. So I mean, 2010 fun, 2011 fun, 2012, and again some more fun, 2013 gone. So it was like I'd taken this company so much into heart. There's so many products I'm managing and all that. And then I felt, look, nobody cares about you. No one cares. When it comes to money, nobody cares. Whether you build that product or you build the technology or you were the architect of that, who cares? And that was a real eye-opener for me, and that's the reason I came up with this 4C. Because nobody cares. And if you want, you can add the 5th one also. Nobody cares. And you yourself will not care.
Another C.
Yes, Chirag, go ahead.
So, when did you realize this, that nobody really cares,
2013.
2017, okay.
No, 13, 2013.
The same year, okay.
Yeah, 11 years ago. So that was in January. I was telling my wife in December of 2012, these people are acting very funny. Every day, some or the other emails are coming, threatening and this and that. So be ready. So I'd asked her, if I were to leave the job and not work at all forever, what do you think? She said, I'm fine. If it was some other wife, she would have said, I married you for money, not for anything else. And tell me one thing, when are you getting me H1B visa or H4 visa? I married you because you are going to America frequently. Otherwise, I never had any intention of marriage. Right. So that's the thing. So I told her, look, I have 2 things to support. One is that I do training programs. So that's one thing is there. And I'm thinking I'll start a tourism company. I don't want software. I'll do something which I've never done before. So for whatever reason, I had these 2 backup. One, you have to spend money for tourism because I don't even know myself how to do tourism business. In fact, I didn't want to do business. I wanted to be in Himalayas. That's the reason I took that. So that I can go there, meditate and do some fun activity. Some money these customers pay, then I will go there. That will cover my expenses. So stay there for 15, 20 days and then come back. And training programs will give us food, shelter. So my son was in his primary education. So he was too young to understand. So he was hardly 11-year-old. So he didn't know what's happening. So I decided, okay, done. Today is the day. Done means done. Over. And I had it came down before resigning. It's like, before committing suicide, you think once and say that, okay, I'm going to leave all of this for the last time. Let me do something. So there was a nice tea stall. He used to give me tea. Just came and told him, last tea for me. Can I have the last tea? He said, sir, what happened? No, nothing. Last tea. Maybe I'll not see you again. So I had a tea and that's it. Over. Came up, then the resignation, done. And I was out without these 4. I didn't care after that because nobody cares, right? And after quitting, nobody cared, to be honest. Few months, all my team members used to say, Vilas sir, without you, you know how the company is, blah, blah, blah. After 2 years, I'm telling you, not even a single call ever came to me on the organization. And I had to follow up. How are you doing? I said, yeah, things are fine. After you left, nothing as much has changed. But while you were there, it was good. But now the new manager is, this person has come. I think you know him. He was there in that other team. Now he's our manager. So we have got adjusted. But it's not as good as it used to be with you. Come on, leave it. Nobody cares. Even I don't care now. Forget about they caring or not caring. The product which I developed, I don't even care now. I don't even care what happened, whether their customers are using or not using it, they like it, they dislike it. But at that time, every customer feedback used to count. So every year, Las Vegas, and every year, the customer satisfaction survey, and every year, you sit with the customer, explain, blah, blah, all that. Events. Which event? No event. Nobody has ever asked me since. in Seattle, I had so many customers, and they have never called me even once to say, look, while you were there, you used to do it such nicely, and this other new person is not doing anything to you. Nobody cares. No one cares. Forget that. If you were to divorce your wife, she also doesn't care you. She's in her life, you are in your life, and that's it. Over. Forget about the job. Like I told about the friend, he doesn't care. In fact, his sister was so attached to my wife, she doesn't care. She comes to Bangalore just casually, just casually. I'd come. I was, busy all the time. Sorry, I'm not going back. But she, and at least me and my friend used to fight sometimes. These two girls never used to fight. And half of the time she used to spend at her home, other half time she used to spend in their home. Now today, no care. There's no, absolutely she has not cared her for the last 30 plus years. And that's true. Nobody cares. I presume somebody is caring, and that's the pain, because it is appearing on the consciousness. I'm feeling that there is a thing which is coming. So there's a perception which says that, hey, he's caring you, she's caring you. No one cares. Yes, sir, Arif.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this, but there's like a billionaire or someone in America that I got interviewed, and he said, and they asked, what's the lesson you learned in your life? He said, in my 20s, I used to work so hard to meet everyone's expectations. And in my 40s, I developed my own expectations. So I started caring less about what other people think of me. Right. And in my 60s, I realized no one have ever thought of me, and they never cared of me.
Yeah, that's true. So the message here is the consciousness doesn't care what is appearing on that at all. And hence we can say nobody cares, because the object comes and goes away, arising and passing away. And that's all what it is. It arises, seems like staying, goes away. And if it goes away, it goes away. And hence, we can't live on our childhood glory and memories. In the same way, we can't live with our job memories. In the same way, we can't stay with our relationship memories. In the same way, we can't live with a close-knit family memories. See, if I was very close to my mother, in fact, my wife had a vision before she died. And I was in Ladakh, and then I came back. And at that same time when I had gone to all the realms and all that, same year, basically. So then came back, and she said, I have one thing. In fact, she had told me on the phone. Yes, Bobby, go ahead.
So what you said just now, your wife died? Something like that? What's it?
No, my mom died, my mother. Wife is still there.
Okay.
She's at present sitting next to me.
I think you told wife died. Right? That's what I heard.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. She actually keeps on dying.
I saw the other day somebody walking behind you, so I presumed it is your wife.
Okay, you presume my wife. Yeah, I keep on killing her almost every other day. I kill her, saying that there's no wife, there's no husband. So she's used to it now. Even my mother-in-law has got used to it, because now that she's staying with us, she doesn't have anywhere to go. So now she has to accept that I don't have a wife, nor she has a husband. So she's now accept to the fact. She has heard it so many. The first time, I think when she heard, I think she would have got shock of her life that how can he say like that? Now I think she's got used to it. Okay, coming back to this is that my mother, while she was alive, and then my wife had a vision that I'm so attached to my mother that after she dies, I'm taking more than 6 months or whatever time frame to become all right. Okay, that's what she said to me, that this is what I had a vision. She called up. When I called up for something else, she said, look, I have something to tell you. I want to tell you when you're here. I said, forget all that. Tell me whatever you want to tell me right now. don't create that anxiety that what you wanted to say. Then she said little, at least to pacify my anxiety. And then I came back and she said, look, this is what I see as a vision. I don't know how far it is true, but I took it very seriously. It was in October 2017 when she said this, and December 2017 she died 2 months later. Now, I was reflecting upon that. Yes, I was very close to my mother, that's true, but I never had a attachment as such, but I was very close. So when she died, it never happened anything to me. Meaning, even like I shared all that, but even after a few months, generally you come out and then you feel lonely, or you feel when you go to that house, the parents' home, and then you feel both the parents are not there any longer. So you generally feel. But till date, I have not felt anything at all. Nothing I have felt. I don't feel it is my home, number one. I always say it is my parents' home, but when I go there, there's no attachment, there's no emotion coming of the parent. But when I see my mother-in-law, she keeps on reflecting on her husband, but I don't feel anything like that. I don't feel overwhelmed by emotions or whatever it is. So what I can see from there is that these 4 C's, what I spoke about, plus the reflection, what I can see of the consciousness, that object is not coming. So there's no feeling of that object. The object comes only, there's a feeling. If there's no object coming in, how will you feel? So if the mother kind of an object comes and there's an attachment to that object, then you will have an emotional surge coming that, oh shit, I have lost my mother and she was so good, she used to feed me, she used to give me so many things, etc., etc. But if you don't have that, and then basically you don't care. For the outside world, it's like, I'm not caring about my mother at all, but internally I don't have anything to care or not to care. And in fact, if I have a photograph at my home of both of my parents, I don't feel anything, absolutely nothing. Like if I see my brother, he feels it, but there's no feeling. Maybe I'm a mad person, he's a sane person, I don't know, but then I don't feel anything. Now, if I reflect upon that, the reflection is the consciousness. So now in this reflection, what is reflecting? The object are not reflecting, and hence there is no experience. So what we need to do for Nibbana is not have this object reflecting on the consciousness. And then you are unconditioned. Basically, that's all what it is. So the Nama Rupa with Vijnana and Vijnana with Nama Rupa goes in circle. Why? When you bring an object, it has to appear on consciousness. Where else will it appear? So when I see sight, the sight by itself doesn't have anything. Eye doesn't have anything. Only the consciousness connects both of them. Meaning, in the reflection or the reflector, a reflection arises. And when the reflection arises, it comes with a feeling of I. I have seen it. I have heard it. I have tasted it. I have smelled it. I have touched it. I have thought over it. All this I will come. But it's just a reflection. So the object comes and falls on that consciousness. It seems as though the consciousness have taken custody of that object on one side, Vijnana Pacchaya Nama Rupa, and on the other side, the object have taken the custody of the consciousness. Correct? See, when I say wife, it's not one-sided, it is two-sided. Yes or no? That person is telling, I am your wife, and I am feeling she is my wife, and hence now they are interlinked. If that other person were to say, I am not your wife, then what happens? You just think. If you have married the company, it's fine because you have applied for the job and you got a job, it's fair. But the company also feels that you are part of them, right? And that's the reason you can't quit, because it becomes your product or your service. Yes, Aryu.
I guess this can even happen with things, right? Some people are very attached to the things to the extent they feel bad if he throw them, as if the thing will feel sad about them getting thrown away.
Yes, we'll take like that. We'll take an example. I have a laptop right now. Now that laptop is giving me what it should give. One side. Second side, I'm feeling it's my laptop. Right? What if the laptop was not working? Which you have seen, Aryu. If the laptop was not working, you are ready to send it back. When it came, I'm so lovingly opening it and checking out, and it's not working. So the pain starts. It's not because it is not getting attached to me. The Vijnana is not attached to the Nama Rupa. So what I will do, I want to throw it out now because it's one-sided. I'm not getting that experience. So what I would do, I will blast that company which sold me this laptop, saying that what thing you have sold, you have not seen this, how can you do this? Because that side, there is no loving. Yes.
That's why I guess in the Nama Rupa, the fourth one is the Udesha, right? The purpose.
Yes, purpose.
If there's no purpose, this closeness will not get formed because it's only to you with some purpose that the attachments start to form.
Exactly. That's right. That's absolutely right. So if we take any object, subject has no thing to say, and object also has no thing to say, but the consciousness has thing to say. So it will say to the subject, it will say to the object. And now the subject connects to the object and the object connects to the subject, but both in consciousness. Like you've seen, Aryu, that laptop episode, what we had is the same thing. The laptop arrived, all happy, because why? Vijnana Pachya Nama Rupa has happened, right? It has come into existence. Jati has happened, right? It's happened. Isn't it a happiness thing coming into our lives? So we say bundle of happiness. Actually, it is bundle, not happiness. It's a bundle, but it is bundle of happiness, right? Now, it should be the other way around. Vijnana Pachya Nama Rupa Pachya Vijnana also should be there. It should go in circle now. And then it makes sense. So what should happen? The expectation what I have on the laptop should work. Then I praise the laptop like crazy. A beautiful laptop. I think wonderful. What if that side did not have? Now it's distorted. There's a distortion in the consciousness that object is not giving me anything at all worth to keep. Whether it is a human being, whether it's an object, they undergo the same procedure. When we do it with a human being, it's called divorce. And when we do it with an object, we are calling it as return and replacement. But the both are same. The moment he or she divorces, they get ready to buy another one, thinking that that other one will give me that what I had expected it to be. So pain reloaded. And now you reload yourself with another set of pain because you didn't know what next to be done. Right? So if I were to compare, be compulsive, or rather compromise, compete, and be compulsive. In the Mangala Sutta, Utthasaloka dhammehi chittam yasya na kampati asokam virajam kemam etan mangalam uttamam. The first time when I read it, or when this thing happened 2013, and the first time I ever went through this sutta was in 2018, after I came back from Sri Lanka. I was feeling overwhelmed. Why? Because Putta is touching. Puttasa loka dhammehi. There are 8 lokiya dhamma. In simple English word, it is profit and loss. First one. Everybody wants profit, nobody wants loss. Marriage is profitable. Why? You're getting a relationship. What's the loss? You'll throw it out. Any object is the same. As long as it gives profit, good. Fame and defame. Second one. Everyone wants fame. And tell me one person who doesn't want fame. Everyone. And career gives you fame. Or career, or some social service, or some NGO activity, and all of that. Whatever in the worldly thing we do, it gives you fame. But what if somebody defames? Nobody likes it. So we want one and drop the other. You just see this one. So I want profit, not the loss. I want the fame, not the defame. That's okay. Praise and blame. I don't want to be blamed. Hey, come on. You couldn't stay with your wife. She was so nice to you. How could you divorce? Then I'm going to come up with 100 problems what she has done for me. Why? Because he's not praising. I was supposed to get a praise. What she would do, she does the same thing. Same thing on job. I'm being blamed for something which I have never done. So I will then blame back to the organization. And the organization blames me in front of everyone. Even if I'm gone, they say that manager, you know how he was? Horrible person, right? So now I can't hear it, but because all my so-called colleagues, friends, they hear it and they give me a call, ensuring that I know that. And because defame, but he's going to call and say, Vilas, you know, when this thing happened in the office, what? Tell me what happened. You know that manager who was competing with you? Now he says nasty things. But some things I have found, Vilas, don't take me wrong, you were doing like this. Now I'm being blamed, right? I should have got praised. So what I want is a photograph in that organization, right? You know, in all countries or places, they put all the leaders' photograph. Even if they curse them, still that photograph is there. Just to remind that either you can praise them or blame them. And the fourth one, Sukha and Dukkha, which is happiness or pleasure and pain. Everyone wants pleasure. Relationship, pleasure. Job, pleasure. That's the reason we keep on saying it's my pleasure to meet you. Actually, it's a pressure of meeting, not pleasure. Because what you are meeting is pressure. If there is more pressure, it's a pain. So you don't want the pressure, so you say it's my pleasure. Because there was no pleasure in the first place. So you have to create pleasure. So now these 8, that is, starting with profit loss, fame defame, then the third one is the praise and blame, and the fourth one is pleasure and pain, is Lokiya Dhamma. In everything we do in the world, only these 8 are there. So Puttassa Loka Dhammehi Chittam Yasya na Kampati. You know, see this, the mind is not in kampana, shaking. It's not asking for pain, nor is asking for pleasure. Not looking at fame, not looking at defame, not looking at praise, not looking at blame. and not looking at profit, not looking at loss, what happens? It cuts 4 C's. Compare, for that profit loss is required. Compromise, praise and blame, right? Compete, it is fame and defame. You will compete because you want, or I want to have fame. That's the reason. And the last one, compulsion. For what? Sukha. Come on, not there. So I was overwhelmed that after 5 years, I see this in the sutta. I felt, wow. And this is for lay follower or for householder. And this Mangala Sutta is only for lay follower. And thanks to that Thero, who is also there in our group, who suggested to me that, Vilas, I think you should lead this. I want you to give sermons in Sri Lanka and Australia and New Zealand and all these countries, because there are a lot of Sri Lankans who have moved to these countries, and I want you to do it in English, because I can't do it in English. I don't know much of English. I want you to do it for us. Can you do it? And that's how I came into doing the discourses in the first place. If he had not suggested me or motivated me, I don't think so I would have done that. But that was a greatest event in my life, because to teach, I need to read. Otherwise, I can't teach, right? How will I ever reach? How will I ever talk about it? And then I came through this Mangala Sutta. I was thinking, wow, this is excellent. So what I did without knowing, now knowing is there. I never had this much of wisdom at that time, but now when I saw that, I felt, wow, this is true. It's very true. Okay, so this consciousness can be used for good and bad. Just like a burner. You can use it for destroying it, you can use it for cooking also. It doesn't care. If you have a gas burner and you're burning food or heating up, it doesn't care. After some time, it will blast. It doesn't care. So how you use it is up to you. So then who goes on jhana? It's a consciousness. You don't go on jhana. There's no you to go on jhana. It is the consciousness which knows how to enter. You need to provide it a right environment, and that's it. It knows what to do. So if you remove the dirt from the mind, chitta, it knows what to do. If we have dirt in the mind, it knows what to do. What it will do? It will do these 8 things, that's all. So it goes on for profit because its original nature is happiness. So it sees that it is unhappy. So it thinks, or rather, it will make a feeling that this is profit, this is loss. So profit will make it feel expansive, so nobody wants loss. It can't take loss. Fame will make it expansive. There's a contracting feeling of defame. And then there is praise. When somebody praises, there's a huge expansion. And there is a contraction when the same thing happens as blame. Then when there is pleasure, there is expansion. When there is pain, contraction. So few days ago, Ashutosh, who is also there in the group, he was praising me a lot. Even yesterday he was praising me. That's a separate thing. So I was just watching what happens now. Because few months ago, or rather, he was blaming me. He was saying that you're talking something. I'm not going to put it on YouTube anyway. So this would be shared within ourselves because shared so much personal information.
Oh, why not? Oh, I thought it's a good one. Okay, fine.
Okay, we can still put it, not an issue. Anyway, if he hears also, he can hear. So few months ago, he was saying that you're confusing me of Goenka. Yep, few months ago, some 5-6 months ago, or 5 months ago, basically. And yeah, even during January when we had a retreat, he was in two minds to come, not to come, and all that. Because he's thinking that I'm doing a theory thing. Fine. But he was feeling not that okay. Now for the last 3-4 days, continuously he's praising me. Now what should I do now? If it appears in the consciousness, it is pain. Why? Because it's giving me pleasure. It's going to give pain. So if I compare, few months ago he was blaming me, now he's praising me. What do we do? There's no guarantee he's not going to blame me later, some other time. And again, after a few more months, he's going to praise me. It's like a cloud over the sky. Yes. You put, yeah, same coin, pain and pleasure. So, like a cloud over the sky. As long as there is cloud, there is no sun. So we can't say that the sun is there. But as soon as the sun is there, there's no cloud. So if I take cloud to be pain or pleasure, and when during hot sun, the cloud gives me pleasure, but when the cloud goes away, then what happens? The pain comes back. So if I were to stick onto one, the other one is a reality. So never go under these 8 things. Why? If it is established in the consciousness, it gives its result. Vipaka. Result. What's the result? You can't be on one. You have to take both. It's like buy one, get one free. Even though you don't want it, he's going to give you that. Keep it with you. Enjoy. No, sir, I don't want. Keep it with you. Someday it will come to use. So then when I marry with pleasure, then the pain starts, because the pain is part of the pleasure anyway. So it has to be there. And then it doesn't end there. The wife or the husband is there for profit. And so as long as there is profit, no problem. But there is a loss, problem starts. If you're blaming, then the problem starts. If you keep on praising, even if the person does 100 mistakes, he's happy. And it should be fame. You can't defame. Fame, always. Always, you're good. And that's the reason we use the word good to go. Where? To the hell. We just say that, good to go. And nobody asks where. Good to go where? Because if we have these 8 things, we keep on rotating around that. I don't want this, I want that. I don't want this, I want that. But both are appearing in the consciousness. So the Nama and Rupa consist of these 8 worldly measures. So the Mana measurement is only on these 8. Atimana is totally taking it to be true. That means I'm here for profit, I'm here for fame, I'm here for praise, and I'm here for pleasure. As long as you're going to provide these 4 things to me, I'll do anything for you. If you remove those 4 and replace other 4 to me, then that's it. I'm not going to be sitting here silent. And that's the truth of it. Because that's what is appearing in the consciousness. Consciousness knows this is pleasure, this is pain, this is neutral. It doesn't know anything beyond that. So whatever objects appears on the consciousness, it's just an appearance. It's not real. It just appears. Like a dog which was walking on a seashore, or sorry, not seashore. Seashore has waves. Lake. By mistake, it just looked at its own reflection. It saw another dog. Where did it come? Reflection. Conscious. It became aware that there is a dog. So he got a feeling that is me, is like me, something else there. So what it did, it wagged its tail, thinking there's a dog there. So then that also was wagging the tail, but it didn't do beyond that. So the dog got enraged by that. So it started to growl. And it thought that other dog is going to run away. That also started growling from the water. Now it is even more worse, right? I thought this dog is going to run away. But the dog, instead of running away, is growling at me. So what should I do? I jump into the water. This is exactly what we have done. If you jump into the water, you drown. Now we are drowned in samsara. Why? Because it's our own reflection, people sitting here. There's no person there. You got the point? So what I see as wife is me in that body. Or husband, or whatever name I'm giving. So I will never find a wife, no matter how much I search. It's like a dog reflecting itself on the lake. And will I ever find it? Because it's only Nama and Rupa. There is no real there. There's no real self there. I've seen the water. I should have just stopped there. Don't jump into the water. This is when Buddha says, Dhite dhite mattam. In seeing, there is only seeing. In hearing, there is only hearing. In tasting, there is only tasting. In touching, there is only touching. In smelling, there is only smelling. In cognizing is just a cognition. So the dog cognized another dog. That's a mistake what it did. If the dog would have just seen, aha, it's my own reflection, walked away, no pain. But it wagged its tail. It did something crazy. So when we meet another person, we wag our tail. Hey, how are you doing? Very good. It's pleasure meeting you. Actually, it's a pain of meeting that because there's no other person there. I can't stay without you. My goodness, you're such a, without you, every moment is a pain. Actually, it's true. Without you, every moment is a pain because when that reflection goes away, it's pain. Because there's a reflection. You can't do anything about a reflection. So let's not become dogs watching that reflection and wag tail. And when we wag tail, the dog doesn't come from there. So we then growl because there are arguments. So growl. And then you jump because it is overwhelming. And that is a magical illusion lake. Whoever jumps never comes out. But whoever comes out never goes inside. An arhat never goes inside. A normal person never comes out. So now we have to decide whether you want to jump in the water, which we already done. Now you can't help it. Do you want to do something to come out of that magical illusion? And if the answer is yes, then stop Nama and Rupa. Then it doesn't appear on consciousness. If it doesn't appear on the consciousness, then the consciousness doesn't take the Nama and Rupa at all. So there is no rebirth. Now we can ask question, what is getting reborn? The eyes are getting reborn. The ear is getting reborn. The nose is getting reborn. The tongue is getting reborn. The body is getting reborn. The mind is getting reborn. There's 6 rebirths. But it looks like one. Yeah. But what is coming out of the womb? 6 senses. When the child comes out, what does it have? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, A mind. So what went out? 6 senses. What came back? 6 senses. Yes, Chirag, go ahead.
Would you say every being has 6 senses?
Reasonably, yes. You take an ant, it has 6 senses. Anything that protects itself has 6 senses. One or the other sense, maybe eye is not there, one sense is not there, but inside it has. Don't go by the physical sense.
What do you mean inside it has? What does that mean?
The mental
I'm
body.
just thinking, because let's say when I was in school, everyone reads that chapter in biology, right? You have
Correct.
more primitive
Life form.
animals, life forms, and as they evolve, they get more and more senses.
Yes, that is true. That is true. So we'll take one single cellular organism, right? It's only consciousness, right? But you just see this fun. If it is a bacteria, it will try to run, right? Have you seen? You try killing a bacteria, you have to do a lot of things to kill the bacteria because it wants to protect itself. That means it can sense. So mind is there, right? Anything that has mind is called sentient. That means it can sense. So the physical sense doors might be missing. Maybe it has only eyes but not ears. Maybe it has only ears but no eyes and no nose and no tongue, no body also. Or body is there. Body anyway has to be there. Otherwise, how can it go around? So it has a body sense door, mind sense door, eye sense door, or an ear sense door, or a nose sense door. Correct? So can we then say that other sense doors are totally absent? No. The mental body has it, but the physical body doesn't have it. It cannot sense that. That's fair. Just like a blind person or a deaf person or a dumb person or even a physically amputated person or whatever it is. Yes, to that extent they can't sense it. True. But they have an internal sense. Like a blind person, how is he able to wear the dress? He is using some other sense door to get that. Agreed? Yes. Yes, Chirag.
Yeah, I mean, my suspicion is that these 6 sense doors, it's like arbitrary. I don't know. Like, let's say the way I think about this is, I think maybe we were born as human beings. So, our reference point is about having 6 senses. But I'm just thinking, let's say if Buddha was born in a different realm where the life form was much more advanced, maybe they have like 7 or 8 senses. And, if Buddha had written suttas in that world, maybe he would say that, oh, there are 7 or 8 sense doors. So I'm just saying, was to say that, our reference point is only our reference point. And, if let's say Buddha was born as, I don't know, plant or some sea anemone, maybe he would think, no, there are only 2 or 3 sense doors. So I'm just thinking, what's to say that there are only 5 sense doors or 6 sense doors? I'm not very convinced.
No, you don't have to be convinced. So now here is a deal. Human life is a junction point. Whether we agree or disagree to secondary. Let's say you are in a railway station waiting for a train. One train goes up, another train comes down. Okay? So you have a down train, you have an up train. The passengers in the up train have a different senses than those people who are going into the down train. So those people sitting in the down train feel that only these senses are the senses, there are no other senses. Because that's what they can see. And a human can only see 6 senses because that's all what we have. Now we can't agree or disagree that there can be a different way of seeing and hearing and tasting and touching and smelling. Yes, there is. But if we catch the train which is going up, your senses will change. Just like a dog sense is different than a human senses. It can sense things which humans cannot sense. With the same eyes, it can sense differently. The same ear, it can sense differently. So what is happening then? The mind, whatever we call mind, has consciousness. And that consciousness is irrespective of the senses. It's got nothing to do with the senses. So if it has a limitation of the senses, the observer effect is restricted to that senses only. Right? So within the human frame, we can only sense this much, which is true. But using that, like, if you were to put a postulate, using that, you can say this is how it would be. Just like I am doing a microbiology. I know there are microbes. I know that there are cells. I know there are cells which are building blocks, and there are cells which are not the building block. There are cells which are independent of each other. There are cells which are dependent of each other. So when we say T cell, this cell, that cell, we are just naming it. But basically in the cell topology, that's all what it is. So mitochondria is mitochondria. That means the food making is the same, irrespective of how it is. Right? So if we see through it, every cell represents 6 senses in that, or whatever senses in that. Right? Every cell has it. See, when we say eyes, it's a eye cells, right? All cells coming together and doing a particular function, we call it as an eye. But we are missing the point that there is an eye sense irrespective of the cell. And that's what we are talking about. If a condition arises where that eye gets a better field of vision, it can be called a Dibba Chakku, divine eye. Why? Because it has surpassed the human eye. And then if there is something which is different, it can be called a Dibba Sota, divine ear. Why? Because it has surpassed it. Okay. Then Dibba Kaya, got a better body than the human body. Divine body, where aging doesn't happen. Right? Now 3 senses. That is Dibba and this Jibba, or Jiva, which means divine tongue. What does it mean, divine tongue? We can only have 6 tastes. Can be salty, can be sugary, can be that is sweet and astringent and like that. Whereas there are many other flavors which we don't even know it. Like if you have a divine eye, you can see many colors other than this RGB colors what we have. Right? That's true. So can we then say it's a mind which is doing it? No. The consciousness which knows it. So if you give that environment, it will establish in that environment. If you give it a lower environment or the downstream train, it will establish itself as a downstream train. If it is establishing as a human stream train or platform or a junction point, it will be like that. Here, you not agreeing to it, I really like it, but this is how it would work. Yes, Sariu.
So you were saying before when you get into the 7th jhana, you can see the sense doors themselves and they're flickering like a lotus, like 6 petals, like that. So these things, it's in the seat of the mind itself, right? It doesn't change as you.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change. Only based upon if you. Yesterday also I was telling, I don't know who, I was saying to Bobby and Janak, if at all we get an ability to see that lotus with 6 petals, your confusion is gone. There won't be any confusion, Chirag, that you would not feel that there should be something. There should be 7, 8, 10, 12, because all of that are within this 6 only. Meaning your quality of experience will change. Now what quality we are having is one thing, and the actual, meaning when you see that in Pali it is pasada, meaning shining. Pasada rupa means it's like literally like as though the sun is inferior in front of it. It shines like that. On that the object is coming. whichever object it is. So even if I were to say a different realm of existence, what it's basically happening is that the consciousness with the six senses is getting established in that place. So there is an experience in the six senses as though I have reached the heaven realm of existence. Because who is anyway going there? It's the six senses which is going there. There's no other thing which is going there, right? What other thing will go? No other thing will go. So if we all get that ability, I only wish that we all get the ability to see the shining thing in the heart. And that will not change. The experiences would change for sure, because if it is getting an inferior thing, it reflects inferior, so it is inferior. If it gets a superior thing, it will reflect superiors and hence superior. Yeah, you wanted to say something? No. Yes, Bobby, go ahead.
Sorry. See, there is two questions. One is in one of the Deva word, it is said that there is something like asanna satta, like
Asanya satta, yes.
Yeah, unconscious beings.
Non-percipient. So they write unconscious. There can't be anything called as unconscious.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
Sanya means perception.
So no perception. So is that like one? And I also heard somewhere that when you go higher, like some of the senses like taste and
it won't be there.
Smelling,
It won't be there. It won't be there.
Yeah. So that means like the six petals, what you are describing, it is still there, but it is so weak that it is not required.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, it is there in the, if you read, if you properly understand Chula Shunyata Sutta.
Chula Shunyata Sutta. Let me write down.
Yeah, write it down. Chula Shunyata Sutta. In that, till the end, Buddha says the stress is the ayatana.
Okay.
Even at the neva sanyana sanya ayatana, there is still that's the reason it's called ayatana. Otherwise, there was no need to put it as ayatana, right? Okay. Yes, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking with the regard of the sense not being there in the higher realm, let's say the tongue. I feel like these senses, they have a relative level of grossness. And like eating, if you see these more,
yes, I was supposed to come to that. I was about to come to that.
Okay.
The predominant sense door in an animal is tongue. Why? It has to sense everything through that. You take lizard, you take snake, you take any reptile, any animal, dog, cat, mouse, you take anything. It keeps on doing that, yes?
Yes.
Because the sense door, which is very much developed in that, is not the eyes, not the ear, not the nose, not only the tongue, not the body also. It doesn't put the body first. It will put the tongue first. Take dog, for example. Two sense door. One is the tongue, one is the nose. But if you come to giraffe or to some other animal, it will be something else. But all within the sixth sense door, right? Now, in the Deva realm, there is no gross food. There's no requirement of food. Because this body is gross, so you require that kind. When the body is not gross, you don't require that. So then there is no body sense door also. Just like when you go to the jhanas, or even when you are gone in Bhanga stage or whatever stage that in VRI, you don't have body. Yes, Chirag.
Two questions, I'd like you to tackle them as you continue discussing this. First is, I'm curious to understand, I think this is an interesting topic, like if we were to rank senses based on based on a scale from grosser to subtler. And I was thinking, because let's say tongue. Tongue is primarily concerned with survival, right? Like anything you eat, you have to taste it to make sure that you live another day. So it makes sense that a being that is preoccupied with survival would be also preoccupied with grossness, or be at a grosser level. And I suspect that maybe, like, I don't know, maybe the mind is one of the highest or the highest, but maybe before that is like eyes, because eyes allow us to perceive the consequences of our actions. One could think of them in that way. So yeah, so this is I think one of my questions. I forgot my second question, so maybe you can answer. Like, while you continue discussing, I hope you can
No,
address.
no, no. First, let me take your question. First, let me understand your question straight. Is that we are going to end in another 8 minutes? It's already almost 10 o'clock here. So let me answer this and we'll close it. And maybe tomorrow we meet again, and then we'll continue from where we have left, because this is a very interesting thing. We'll close it completely before we move further. So first and foremost, it's not about what sense door is prominent or not prominent. It is for that being, what's the survival mode that makes it more prominent, right? If you see in the human, all the 5 senses almost have the same.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because it seems like the human, jaise tarazu hota hai na, matlab like a balance. So human beings is right at the center,
Exactly.
So,
that's the reason I said that it is a junction point from where 2 trains run, one up and one down. You have an ability to complete the journey in human, because almost all the 5 senses have no predominance. Meaning, if you were to decide, I would not taste food, relish food, you can do that. If you were relishing smell, you can stop relishing smell. If you were relishing sight, you could stop relishing sight. If you were to relish the sound, you can stop relishing the sound. If you were relishing the body, you could stop relishing the body. And hence you're changing the mentality now. Right? The 5 senses can be tamed. Okay. Now, if you look at an animal, it doesn't have an ability to discern or discriminate. It's on a survival mode. That's it. See, will you ever bite someone even if you're angry? There are people who do that. I'm talking in a sane way. Even if the person is very angry, he wouldn't go and bite the other person. He might shout. He might tremble like an animal, but he will not bite, or she will not bite. Extreme cases that will happen, but let's take a normal sane view. Why? Because in the chitta, in the mind, those things are very low. So it doesn't appear.
If the kids develop that kind of behavior, they will take it very seriously and correct it, because it's not up this realm. Right? They say, oh, this is something seriously wrong with this.
Yes, so they take them to the hospital because there's mental problem. Why? They are in that realm of existence. That means they are in the animal realm with a human body. So the person can get heated up, but might not bite, but he might hit. That is a separate issue. That is there. The physical fight and physical things are there like an animal. But biting is a survival mechanism of an animal only. So it will bite. So what is predominant there? It's the tongue sense door. To protect itself, it will bite. You take a snake, it will bite. You take a lizard, it will bite. You take a rat, it will bite. Everything will bite, because that's the thing to survive. Whereas you don't have to bite, but you are biting through your eyes. You got the point. You are biting through the eyes. You are biting through ears. You are biting through all the 6 senses. That poor guy is only using 1 sense. We are using all the 5 senses. So who is much better? Human being is much better, or an animal or a bird or whatever is much better? For them, the beaks, right? Everything, even to construct their house, they have to use the beak. You just see this fun. So it's a predominantly a survival mechanism. In humans is also a survival mechanism to go as an animal. So the objective here is to cut that animal kingdom forever by being a sotapanna, because now you have cut that. Really, you have cut it. You have ended that pain of being in the animal realm of biting or using the mouth. So the first thing is to cut this tongue, eating all the time. Stop it. Eating in the eyes, stop it. Eating in the ear, stop it. Eating in the nose, stop it. Eating in the body, stop it. And then the mind is purified, because it has taken that. It has taken all of these, traits. So you are coming out of those traits. And now when you go up, what is the need for a tongue sense door? When it is not at all required in human sense door, you think that is required in that realm. No. There's no survival mechanism of the tongue. So the tongue will be dormant. Yes, go ahead.
Is it it looks like it is tongue is the grossest among
Experience,
this. Everything is there, but then when you eat after coming to this Dhamma and everything, of course you are reduced there, maybe 2 meals, but still there is a tendency that for me personally, like when you eat sweets and all, you
That's
like
okay.
it.
That is little bit of greed, but it's not like that. Have you seen? See, some people will say, "I'm a foodie."
At least I'm not that much, but I like sweets.
No, that's okay. But there are people who will claim to be a foodie.
Okay.
They claim to be foodie means what?
They want to eat all the time.
Like a pig. Keep on eating, shitting. That's all. If somebody is interested in doing.
Yeah. Always worried about eating.
Always worried about eating. And I want to eat in this place. I want to eat in that place. You see the anxiety. That's the survival mechanism of the tongue. It wants it. So what happens? Wait, Aryu. It will get established below. Right now, in the human body, the consciousness has got established in the lower realm. Always eating. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. That's why I think in the Bala Pandita Sutta, right, the sutta about the fool and the wise, the Buddha said those people who used to do bad deeds and then used to commit gluttony of sort, they end up in these lower realms.
Correct.
Because he especially put eating as one of the things that bring you down.
Because the grossest plus the most predominant sense door that is required to be in that realm is tongue. As simple as that. Whether they use eyes or ears or nose or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, actually, if you sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was saying, actually, if one were to think about it, I think almost most of the lower life forms have tongues. They actively use the tongue, whether it is for ingesting food or something. So it's like predominantly there, or maybe one could say that it's the predominant sense organ used by lower life forms.
Yes, and that is the reason humans eat in all the 5 sense doors. And we can give up also, because we are more balanced. Like what do you use, the tarazu, weighing machine. You can weigh, but I don't think so. An animal can weigh itself and say, hey, wait a second, let me eat through eyes today for a change. No, actually, if a woman comes half nude, you will not eat her by your tongue. You will eat her by the eyes. You're eating still by the eyes. Wow, what a beauty. Man, have a look at it. She looks so hot. What hot is there? But she's hot.
I guess that's why some animals like spider and these, after they make love, they'll eat the other partner because that's for them.
For them, everything is sensing through the tongue. So everything is through tongue based. And for us, the music, what we listen, we eat it through the ear. The music is eaten by the ear. We don't put food in ear. That is a ear food, which is sound is coming. We can discern. This is good sound, this is bad sound. It's a good touch and bad touch. This is good smell, bad smell. This is good taste and bad taste. This is good sight and that is bad sight. Can any other realm can do it? No. They don't have a faculty of discrimination. They have consciousness, absolutely true. But
wouldn't you say higher realms, you have better discernment?
Yes, they do. So tomorrow we'll take it up on the other realms and other dimensions and what they would do with, whether they first have 6 senses. That's a very good question. Nobody asked me this question. I appreciate you. How do you know? Only 6 are there. Why not 10? Why not 20? Yes, good one. And you shouldn't be convinced. I'm telling you, you shouldn't be convinced. You should fight with me and then we will get to see what is real and what is unreal. Hopefully you are joining tomorrow.
Yes.
Because sometimes you come, throw stone and go away and then I have to keep on holding the stone forever. So tomorrow you join. Anyway, I'm in the office, so I can carry these things and then we'll do that. And worst case scenario, Aryu can record it.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay then. Good night.
I think
And
we can't afford to miss this.
yeah, it's very good one. Yeah, thanks.
Very, very valuable.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.